Hello everyone, this is Ep23 and welcome to episode 23 of Ep23's Satisfactory Let's Play series, where today I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do, but I need to get my manufacturing plant thingies going. These guys, manufacturers, right? Yeah, these guys. I want to get computers and heavy modular frames automated today, if I can. And I'm starting to look into what's involved in doing that. The main thing I'd like to get is, as you can see in the top right, I've got expanded power infrastructure as my goal. And that's going to need a decent amount of computers and heavy modular frames, and those things are going to be needed a lot going forward. So I want to start with like a basic construct going, getting things cooking, and then I would like to kind of expand it as time goes on. We're probably going to need to refactor this design a little bit, but I'd like to get the basics going just so we can start producing them, but it's probably going to be a little bit slow to get going, right? That's kind of what's up. So one thing we're going to need is circuit boards, right? And these circuit boards are going to be used to make computers. Now, computers need a decent amount of resources: circuit boards, cables, plastic, and screws, right? These bottom three we're obviously already making, but we're using all the screws we're making, so we're going to need to improve those. But don't worry, I have a plan. And then circuit boards, we actually need 25 circuit boards per minute, and each of these is going to make 7 per minute. So that's a paltry amount. It's not super great. Now, I did happen to find an alternate recipe, Caterium circuit boards, which I might look into doing. It's going to need a little bit more plastic, but it uses quick wire instead of copper tubes, and that might be cool. The only problem is I have yet to bring quick wire over to my main base, but we could set up a truck station real quick to do that, right? We could bring the Caterium wire things over to here and then pipe them up, and that could work out. So that might be the route I decide to take, right? And then it shouldn't be too bad to double or triple this. And if we made 3 of these guys, it would be enough to keep this guy satisfied at all times, right? So that might be what we wind up doing. We're also going to need a decent amount of cable and plastics. And again, we haven't automated getting plastics back to the main base. We've obviously brought them back manually, right? We've got, some plastic here, but we're going to need to automate that and get that back here. What I think I'd like to do is do trains for the plastic and rubber. So what I'd like to do is get these 2 things automated, then do expanded power infrastructure, less so for power and more so for the tier 4 belts that we get out of that. And then the next thing I would research would be trains, and we could use trains to route the plastic and rubber back. And that might be super cool, because trains are neat. Trains are fun. Trains are very cool. And like amazingly good resource transferring, right? So that's kind of the plan. So if we were going to do that, that would be neat, I think. I think that would be relatively neat. Now, what do we got going on over here? You're this stuff. Okay, cool. So you're nice and backstuffed, which is nice to see, right? We've got lots of steel beams coming in. So a lot of the things that we had here, because we spent so much time exploring and doing stuff around the world, a lot of things have started backstuffing, which is great to see, right? Like, that's awesome. Very excited about that. So I'm thinking, do I want to do just 3 circuit board makers right off the bat, just so we're ready for that situation? Or how should we handle that? Because if we do that, we don't want to build this here. We want to kind of... Or I could switch these. Yeah, I could switch these. So instead of having... What I could do is have you be the heavy modular, have you be the computer, and then we could have 3 sets. Hey. 1, 2, will you fit? A little tight, but not terrible, right? And then you could be the alternate recipe for Caterium circuit boards. That might be cool, right? And then you guys all combine into here and then right into here for the circuit boards. That might be a cool way to do it. And that would be 8.75 times 3. There's a few instances where you might want circuit boards on hand, so having a little bit more than you're making at a time might not be a terrible idea, right? And then we just need to get cables Plastic will already be here because we're going to be feeding plastic into these guys. So we'll do like splitter for plastic straight in, and then plastic, plastic, plastic for all the circuit boards. It's going to need a lot of plastic, obviously, but I think it's doable. And then screws, which we can get going, right? So I've got this guy here ready to do screws. So check it out. Between episodes, I found the alternate screw recipe that I was looking for. 1 steel plate makes 52 screws at a rate of 260 screws per minute. How cool is that? Now, for these machines to run happily, they need 130 and 200. So that is 330, right? Now, you can do 260, but I could probably overclock you a little bit, and that would bring you up to 390, which is more than my belts can handle, but that's part of the reason that I would like to do the thing, right? And we only need to supply these 5 steel beams per minute. This is the alternate screw recipe that I wanted, right? Few people were like, why didn't you get the other recipes that you had available to you? I knew this screw recipe was bonkers good, and this is the one that I wanted to get. So we're probably going to overclock this bad boy, even though our belts won't be able to handle it. But our belts will be able to handle it, you know, eventually, and that should be fine. So that's what I'll do, right? We'll have a splitter coming out of here, right? And you can do Mark III belt, and that would be cool, right? I like this plan. I like this plan a lot. So all we need to do is get steel beams into here, which should be doable, because steel beams are... These are steel beams, right? Yes. Yes, they are. Sweet. I could probably... Is this a merger? It is, right? Yeah. I could probably tap into one of these guys, because it only needs, like, 5 per minute, right? It's, like, such a small amount. And this thing makes 15, right? So we're, you know, we're barely tapping into the needs here. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool how it works out. So this guy could be a splitter, right? He doesn't have to be a merger. I think he could be. So what we could do, check this out. I'm going to just clear these guys out here. We'll put a splitter here. Right? And then he... and feed right into that guy. Yeah? How great is that? Now what do you connect to? Do you just connect to those two things? I can move you, right? I just don't like them, you know, being ugly like that. There we go, all fixed. Nice, right? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And now we're going to be producing a bonkers number of screws, right? 390 per minute. Well more than enough than we need to handle. Again, our belt here is not going to be able to handle that, but we'll upgrade that to a Mark IV once we unlock them. Cool? All right. So then you guys all need to handle my circuit boards, right? So you're going to have a merger that's going to go out to the right. Okay. And then I would really like it... What I should do, and unfortunately I have to do this. I should line up the assembler with the output of this machine. So let's make this nice and lined up, right? I would like you to be lined up. Is that cool? Is that good? That seems pretty lined up to me. Seems pretty darn close. Is that straight? Yeah, I would say so. Cool. And again, these will be my alternate recipe with the Quaternium circuit boards. Cool. And then we want mergers to go here, facing out that way. I guess I'm going to do it with that one only, because this one I want to do manually such that the output is that way. Right? And that should be your circuit boards coming in. Sweet. That is cool. All right, now we just need to get cables and plastics into here along with those circuit boards. So let's prepare for the plastics, right? And then cables we might run like something like this. We might need to do high lifts for the cables, but here we could have a splitter going this way. I'm thinking it should come in here. And then we should have these guys. Let's prep this, right? Oh, Smart, you are the best. I'm just saying. I'm just saying you are the best, right? So this bottom row will be plastics then, right? And then you can go also to here. Now, I have the input here for plastics, right? So we're going to want, for now, what I'm going to do is have a storage container, but eventually we'll route this more automatically. You could actually be a little bit closer. I don't need to take up that much space. Right? And that's where plastics can go. Cool? So check that out. Plastics should now route into the left, yes, of all these. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love in-place upgrading power lines. It is the best. Sweet. So now you're all getting your plastics like you're supposed to. Awesome. So I'm just going to manually bring the plastics over here, like I said, until we get trains up and running. But that should be fine. It should be fine. Manual's a dirty word in this game, but you know, you gotta occasionally do stuff manually. You can't automate all the things from the start. You gotta work your way up to it. Cool. So that's working on that. So now we just need to get the cables and the Quaternium coming in. So Quaternium we're going to have to route into here somehow. But we'll figure that out, Quaternium wires. Do we want to do... I doubt that you're going to be kind enough to let me do that, right? No, definitely encroaching. Definitely encroaching a little bit. What if I backed you up just a smidge? Would you be nice? You would be nice. Cool. I like that. It's tight, but it kind of works. What I think I'm going to do is just line these two up. And then I like to hold on to 200 plastic, just, you know, maybe 400 just to be safe. I mean, I can always kick out to my plastic producer, right? And that should be fine. And then you're going to get some quick wire, which we've got. I'm going to just throw 500 in there for a moment. And that should route and start making all the circuit boards that we need. Cool? Sweet. Sweet indeed. I like it. It's coming along nicely, huh? All right. Alrighty then. And circuit boards a go. That's pretty cool. So then the last thing we need to do is get cables over here, which we kind of needed for one of these guys as well. So we're going to want to run cables over. And then we're going to start working on the heavy frames, which shouldn't be too bad because most of this stuff is kind of already here, right? So this one should be a little bit easier to automate. Let's look at getting cables over here. What I'm probably going to want to do is similar to what I did with this guy. Should we run him kind of parallel to what we did over there? We might want to do that. We might want to do that. Because remember, we need cables, I believe here. I hope I broke the right machine. You need cables, right? Yes. That's the one we need. Cool. So you need cables to make these doohickeys. Automated wiring. Now let's just math out how many cables we need real quick, just to make sure we're producing enough, because we may or may not be. I don't know. So you need 50 per minute for automated wiring. Bananas. 50 per minute. And you, sir, need 22.5. 22.5. Now, obviously, the computers are the higher priority at the moment, but we're going to want to keep in mind that we are eventually going to want the other one. So realistically, we want like 75 per minute, and we're making 30 at this moment. At this exact moment, we're making 30. So you're doing 30, you're doing 30, and you turn 60 into 30. So we're going to want 3 cable makers eventually. Right? We're going to want to triple that. But let's start with... Are you in a position... I should really bump you out, is what I should do. That should be fine, actually. Yeah, it's good. Oh, I have a few extra cables in here. That little crate that I just picked up, by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen this yet on this series, but that little crate that I just picked up is what happens when you break something that has items in it that don't fit in your inventory. So I broke that belt, and I didn't have inventory space for the cables that were on the belt, so they went into that little chest on the ground. So we'll deal with speeding this up in a bit, but I wanted to give myself more real estate room for mergers and splitters and all that stuff, right? But then what I think we're going to want to do is kind of match this guy's height. Does that seem appropriate? And then what we could do is get logistics, stackable poles. It's a little bit tricky to kind of understand what's happening, but... Because I don't remember exactly how tall I made these. But could I potentially do this? And that wouldn't be too terrible looking? That seems fine, right? Seems fine. Or the other thing I could do is I could run it underneath that. That might be cool too. That might be cool too. But I think running it next to it would be the coolest. Right? Might be the coolest. Yeah, we're going to want that to be higher, aren't we? Yeah, we might want that higher. Trying to make this look nice, folks. Trying to make it look nice. And then this was kind of my marker as to where to build these. So what did I have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That look right? I feel like that looks pretty right. That looks pretty right. And then what we'll basically want, I want to make sure that this is good, but we'll find out. Think this will reach? Ah, just too short. Okay, not a big deal. Alright, so we're going to connect you up to here. Nice. Does this look relatively cool? Relatively cool? And then what I'm going to do is be ready with you, but I would like you to be a Mark III lift. And I think you should face this way-ish. Okay. And what we'll do is I'll have these guys here-ish. And then you hopefully connect over to here directly. And then what I could have is a splitter, like here-ish. And that goes into there, right? But I'm not going to connect that yet because I don't want that to happen. But I want you to be a Mark III just because I want everything to be a Mark III anymore. Cool. And that should be getting cables into this bad boy. And we are now constructing computers. Right? Right? How great is that? Computer construction. We did it. We did it. We did the thing. Okay. A little bit more real estate. And now we can make ourselves some storage containers. Now, do we need Mark III belts here? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Am I putting them there? Yes. All right, we're making 2 computers a minute. We don't need them to be Mark III belts. But, you know. But hey, look, computers is happening. Look, we've already got 3 computers. How great is that? All right, nice. All right, so that's really awesome. That's really, really awesome. Loving the steel screw recipe. It's literally the best. You can't go wrong with it. All right, now what we can do, if we want to get rid of these conveyor poles, just make sure that when you're removing stuff, see how it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be very careful because we're looking, you know, through these guys. See how I now have 7 highlighted because we also have that and that. Yeah, be really careful. If you want to do one at a time, I wouldn't blame you. Okay. So we have to get Quaternium wire over here, and that'll really solidify computers is done. Right? Once Quaternium wire is here and good. But this gets our cables over to where they need to be. And it's not that dire wiry. It's, you know, it's not great, not terrible. It's okay. It's good. What I'd like to do is this one next, though, and then we'll bring Quaternium over. Sound cool? So industrial steel beams should be exceedingly easy because it's one of these 2. Yep, there it is. Right? I mean, the conveyor belt's not perfectly straight, but whatever. Steel beam and modular frame. So we have modular frames, right? So what we could do is just throw a nice little splitter here. Throw a Mark III. Encroaching on another's clearance. Whose clearance am I encroaching on? Whose clearance am I encroaching on? I was hoping I could sneak you right through this, but it looks like it's going to be a little tricky to navigate that. Oh, I think I did it. make that a Mark III belt. Right? Oh, what's up? And then steel pipes is the last bit of this puzzle. So I think we've got some steel pipes over here. Now, is this a splitter for steel pipes? It kind of is. Right? Yeah, buddy. Not too shabby. Like, yeah, the belts aren't perfectly straight, but I mean, that is not terrible. That is 100% not terrible. Right? Now, how many 10 per minute of modular frames? I don't think we're anywhere near that number, right? I don't think we're anywhere near that number of modular frames per minute. Because modular frames are where? Modular frames are coming from over here. So that is, we're producing how many? We're producing 2. 2 per minute. So, you know, we have a lot backstuffed, but not that many. Not that many. So here's the rub. Here's the problem, as it were. I don't think we ever need like a stupid amount of either of these resources, unless I'm mistaken. So what I think I'm gonna do, and tell me how this sounds, but I'm just gonna throw so let's do like 2 stacks. Does that sound cool? 2 stacks, maybe 3 stacks of heavy modular frames? And then you can start backstuffing, and I'll do the same over here for computers. Does 3 stacks sound like a good number? This is where Factorio's ability to limit, you know, automation inputs really shines. And I hope that Satisfactory borrows that technology. You know what I'm talking about in Factorio, where you can say, like, for automated inputs, don't allow, you know, these slots to be populated, right? But for now, this will have to do, right? So we'll get 3 stacks of heavy modular frames, which I think stack up to 50. 3 stacks of computers, which I think stack up to 100, and then we'll back stuff, right? And then as we need computers and heavy modular frames, we should be cool. All right, so 2 things to go here, right? We need plastics and we need titanium. Now, if I were to do this, can I sneak this guy right down here? I totally can. Sweet. So Mark III lift. That's cool beans. That's cool beans. All right. So then realistically what we want then is a truck station for Caternium. Right? And which one of you guys is the output? I believe it would be you. Okay. Now, do we have the resources to make another one of these? We do. We do. And do we have the resources to make a truck? Or a tractor? We actually do have a tractor resources. Cool. Do we have both? So that needs 15, and that needs 5. So we're good there, we're good there. Yeah, we are actually good. Sweet. All right, so we have the resources to make both. You need probably a little bit of power, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. You can probably just connect you right up there. Nice. Now, we will need to get coal going into this somehow. Some kind of fuel. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. On one side or the other, we'll get coal going into it, just to power the thing. And then we just need to create our truck path for the Caternium. Right? Should be good. So Caternium is over here somewhere. And I'm hoping that the truck will be able to traverse this pathway without too much fuss. But what I might do is give it twice as much space. Right? twice as much space. Now, is there a 8x2 ramp? There is. Right. Or, you know what? We probably don't even have to mess with ramps too much. If we were to do this, right? And then we could just have the truck station here, encroaching on another's clearance eternally. Yeah? How do we feel about that? And then the truck comes in here, it loops around, and it comes back here. I kind of like that idea. The only thing I might want to do is something like this, so that I can get rid of this without too much of a problem. Now, how about coal? What's my coal situation going to be? Any coal, like, right nearby? That would be, like, super helpful. There's some 266 away, actually. I would call that pretty nearby. This is a temporary thing. That's exceedingly close. I like it. I like it. There it is. Okay. So if we... I don't know that we need a ton of coal. So I should be able to do a minor Mark 1 on there. We just need one of those doohickeys. Right. One of these. Minor Mark 1. Oh. Right. We can bring conveyor belts up here. We can bring power up here. And it doesn't have to be, like, you know, super neat. Which should be a surprise to no one because it's dark. Okay. Let's just make sure that we have a reasonable amount of coal coming in here. And I try not to clip through the terrain, even though conveyor belts let you clip through the terrain. I mean, I try to make it look a little bit nice, right? And this coal dude will be dedicated towards this thing, right? So this belt will feed that, and this belt not so much. We'll feed that. How's that sound? Cool. So now we're getting Caternium here, quick wire. That's going to be used for our circuit boards into the truck station. We should have coal showing up soon. Right? Because we connected our coal to power. Look, here it comes. Nice. And it's not a huge amount of coal, but we shouldn't need a huge amount of coal. If we need to mark 2 that, I didn't even see if it's a pure or an impure node. I have no idea. I don't care. Right? The amount of coal we're going to need here is trivial. So then the final stage of this is to build the pathways for the truck, which I'm going to do now between episodes. So let's wrap up this episode here. We'll come back next time. We should have a-ish amount of computers and things going. And I'll show you the truck working in progress, right? The truck should be working good. So you should, by the way, be loading, right? Or I think that's load. The other one's unload. Cool. And that should be cool, right? All right, so for now, Del20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'll let you know if anything interesting happens with the whole truck and tractor stuff. But I think this should be good. I think it really should be. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time. Very excited about the alternate recipe for screws that I got, which I'm assuming you guys are as well. Didn't I grab a bunch of coal here? What's going on? Didn't I snag that whole stack of coal? There it is. Okay. Yeah, I just couldn't find it. And, yeah, like I said, we'll come back next time and have some more fun checking out what we can do. Hopefully I'll have enough resources to unlock the power and the tier 4 belts thing. All right, guys, take it easy.